Do you know the meaning of number 3 heavily referenced in the film? Hi everyone! Today's video is about Ponyo. Its Japanese original title is Ponyo on the Cliff. It is one of the most abstract works by Miyazaki, and this apparently a kiddie fantasy anime actually has a lots of hidden stories behind it. Ponyo is a harbinger of death. Its main character, the mermaid, is called Ponyo, which is a nickname made by Sosuke. Ponyo is actually an onomatopoeic word in Japanese that describes something soft and chubby. Ponyo's real name is Brunhild. Ponyo's father, Mr. Fujimoto, calls her Brunhild in the film. Brunhild was named after a princess in Norse mythology who was said to have magical powers and the ability to predict the future. In one of the myths surrounding her, Brunhild rebelled against Odin, the highest god in Norse mythology, and as the punishment for her rebellion, Odin imprisoned her in a castle and forced her into a long slumber. In the film Ponyo, Mr. Fujimoto also makes Ponyo asleep in order to suppress her powers. The water tank house Ponyo lives in ironically has a castle inside, drawing another parallel to Brunhild's story. Brunhild is also a member of the Valkyries. In Norse mythology, Valkyries are responsible for determining which warriors live and die during battle. They also guide the souls of the dead to Valhalla, the Vikings' version of heaven. The background music playing when Ponyo comes to Sosuke in the middle of the tsunami is titled Flight of Ponyo. If we listen to it carefully, we can notice that the music quotes Richard Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, which is a song closely associated with death and destruction. The ideas of dead people and heaven seem out of place in the fantasy world of Ponyo. However, the storm and tsunami caused by Ponyo actually put Sosuke and the people of the town in danger of their lives. The meaning of number 3. In the film of Ponyo, the number 3 is heavily referenced. For example, Ponyo's alteration form has 3 stages: fish, half-fish-man, and human. The number of questions that Grandma Mare asks is 3. Ponyo fell asleep 3 times in the film. Sosuke's mother's car number is 333. The house of Sosuke was repaired 3 times. Grandma Mare has 3 earrings on each side. 3 minutes until Ponyo's noodle is ready. There are 3 ingredients in the noodle. In addition, the movie tagline Miyazaki created is, "All the important things are there within your 3-meter radius." We can think of 2 reasons why the number 3 plays a key role in the film. Firstly, in the myth of Brunhild, the number 3 carries a special meaning as the angel number 333 represents the trinity of soul, spirit, and body. The heavy use of the number 3 in the film might be connected to the belief of life after death or the existence of the soul. Secondly, the number 3 might also be connected to the Sanzu River. San means 3 in Japanese, and Sanzu River is also known as the River of 3 Crossings. The Sanzu River is part of Japanese Buddhist beliefs, which is similar to the Hindu concept of Vaitarna, and the river Styx in Greek mythology. In Japanese Buddhism, the Sanzu River is considered as the boundary between the living world and the afterlife. Before reaching the afterlife, the souls of the deceased must cross the river by one of 3 crossing points: a bridge, a ford, and a stretch of deep, snake-infested waters. The family on the sea is actually dead. There's a scene in the movie where Sosuke and Ponyo encounter a family riding a boat in the middle of the sea. The mother, who is holding a baby, wears an old-fashioned dress. According to the film's promotion materials, the woman is a mother from the Taisho era in Japan, year 1912 to 1926, which doesn't match the era the film is set. Further, we can also notice that the boat they are on is oddly old-fashioned. In the scene, Ponyo gives the family a honey-colored soup. Similarly, in Norse mythology, Brunhild gives a honey-based wine to warriors who died in battle. Knowing the parallels between Ponyo and Brunhild, and also how the family is dressed in clothes from a bygone era, there's a high likelihood that this family is already dead, maybe due to a war. We can also assume that the family on the boat is crossing the Sanzu River, a boundary between the living world and the afterlife. Some speculate that the family tied in their Sanzu River journey because of their grumpy baby. Many viewers assume that the baby's grumpy demeanor is because of the unwillingness to let go of the living world. Seeing the baby cry, Ponyo moved closer to the baby's face and cast some sort of spell. It changed the baby's demeanor and made him smile. In a way, Ponyo's comforting action is like Brunhild, allowing the baby to find peace in the afterlife. On a side note, Rumi Hiragi, the voice actress of this mother, also voiced the protagonist Chihiro in Spirited Away. Because of this connection, the icon of Chihiro and no face appear beside her name during the end credits of the film. Also, during the beginning scenes for Spirited Away, Chihiro is holding a flowers bouquet with a message card from her friend. The friend's name written on the message card is Lisa, the same name of Sosuke's mother. How the Ponyo story was born. Studio Ghibli originally planned to make a new anime film based on the novel Iya Iya Kindergarten by Riko Nakagawa. Iya Iya means no no, and is frequently said by kids in the middle of their terrible twos. The novel depicts the kindergarten life of a 4-year-old boy named Shigeru. Compared to Sosuke, who is more independent at the age of 5, Shigeru is in the middle of his Iya Iya stage of childhood. However, we can see Sosuke's nursery school days in the film, and it shows how the ideas from Iya Iya Kindergarten were retained in the film. While planning to make an anime for nursery school children, Miyazaki came up with the idea to create a real nursery school. With this plan, he established a kindergarten named House Nursery School of the Three Bears. This nursery can only be used by Studio Ghibli staffs and is located next to Miyazaki's workplace. Because of the nursery school, the initial plan to produce the kindergarten animation was shelved, and they decided to make another film while keeping the ideas from their previous plan, including making the main character a kindergarten kid. The new film chose Sosuke as the protagonist and was initially titled Sosuke Under a Cliff, changed to Sosuke on the Cliff, and finally end up with Ponyo on the Cliff. Sosuke calls his parents by their names. The Japanese version of the movie, Sosuke calls his mother Lisa and his father Kochi instead of calling them mom and dad. It's very unusual for Japanese children to call their parents by their name, and of course none of the other Ghibli films show children calling their parents by their name. At the time of the film's release, there were critics saying that the movie was inappropriate for education, and that it sets a bad example for children to follow. According to Toshio Suzuki, a film producer at Ghibli, the way Sosuke addresses his parents was intentional because they wanted to show that people should be more independent individuals. Calling parents by their name is something new and progressive for Ghibli movies. Suzuki also said, maybe it's the way Japanese families will be in the future. However, when the film was dubbed in English, Sosuke simply calls his parents mom and dad. The reason behind this English localization has not been revealed yet.